So thank you so much for everybody for stopping by for my presentation. It's about solution-focused brief therapy for birthing people from all over the world. And to this presentation, the summary is that I will be sharing what we are finding out about how solution-focused brief therapy being helpful for people who are pregnant or after giving birth, whatever the situation is, the problem is how it is used and then useful. And then after I share the information, I would like to have a little discussion to what do you look for in solution-focused research, and what would you like to know more about birthing people or the process of having a child, or how are you becoming, the clients becoming parents, or, couples becoming parents, that kind of things. So during the presentation, there are a few places that I would like to ask for your input, so that you can write it in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and then join the conversation that way. Yeah, so because I found a research paper from all over the world in different continents, that's why my presentation says all over the world. But first of all, I would like to introduce myself and who I am. So my name is Keiko Yoneyama-Sims, a licensed marriage and family therapist in United States. I live in Colorado right now. And I have been working with people who are becoming mother for a very long time, and also working using solution-focused brief therapy. And it is a very interesting field because the solution-focused brief therapy is not really established as a evidence-based practice as of yet in official term. So it is very emerging field to do the solution-focused brief therapy research for the birthing people. So for this presentation, I hope that I will share the research papers that I found and then have a discussion with you all about what is needed out there. What do you hear working with your client? Maybe not, they are not birthing people, but in terms of solution focus, what's working, what you want to see more in a research, or that can be used in your areas of expertise or areas of work. So before I go on to my lecture or my talk, I would like to stop and then hear what is your hope, or what you wanted to get out of this presentation. You may go ahead and unmute yourself or write it in a mail chat so that I will read. So,
okay, then I'll go first.
okay.
I came here first to see you after a long time. And yeah, I myself, I have given birth to 3 children. All of them came to this world in my home. And so just from this, it's very interesting to hear what are you going to tell us about your work with birthing people, and what where difficulties are. I was very lucky. Yeah,
Thank you.
so that's why I'm here.
Thank you, Caroline. I see Caddy. Would you like to go second?
Did you talk to me?
Yeah. I saw your mic went out, so I was like, oh.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I can go second. I was just curious. I think it sounded like an unusual, unexpected combination to me, solution focus and birthing. And I like the around the world, all over the world aspect of it. So I'm just curious to see if there's like if that aspect of it brings some, what kind of interesting insights the around the world thing can bring. And yeah, I think I also like that you call them birthing people and not birthing women. So that also intrigued me.
Yeah. Yeah, great. Thank you, Caddy, for pointing that out. Yes, you in the past they call women or birthing women or perinatal women. However, there are so many more people who is giving birth as a trans men. That's why we start calling birthing people. And then also some people don't identify as a mother. Some people are surrogacy. They are going through pregnancy and birth, but then they are not mother. That kind of situation that is happening. So yeah, we decided to call them birthing mother, that birthing people. So thank you, Caddy, for pointing that out. And then the new solution focus field. Yeah, it's very new in research papers. Yes, more about use of SF in this context. Thank you so much for putting, and then you are more than welcome to put more in the chat as we go through. And then if you have any question, please stop me and then ask questions or put it in a chat so I can answer your questions or comment or concerns or, hey, you didn't explain this part really well, so could you tell me more about that? I'm happy to do so. All right. And so I will try my best to cover these areas that you mentioned and then throughout the presentation. So let's so like you can see in this picture, there are a lot of stages of birthing people. Some people who are just figuring out that they are conceived and waiting to have a birth. People who are gave birth recently and just recuperating from birth itself. Some people are having more older kids who are in going through the adjustment of motherhood or parenthood. And then in terms of birthing people, there are many different diversity in the birthing people, where many different socioeconomic status, a different culture, different climate, different family structure, or the government policy or national policy, insurance, no insurance, all sorts of things. So in this presentation, I try to be mindful of different situations that people might face going through the we have been giving birth since the beginning of this history. Otherwise, we're not going to have history, but still there are so many mysteries and a misunderstanding out there. So hopefully this will help you somewhat to clarify. So right. So what happened when people get conceived or giving birth, right? What do you think happens? You can unmute yourself or put it in a chat. What happens? Like what changes for people who are carrying baby or birthing another human being? Any takers?
Well, I believe it's like an initiation into a totally new life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Transformative, like life change, personal change too. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Caroline. So these are the few of the things that people can go through, such as physical change of course, your belly gets big, you know, so your body shape changes, your weight changes, that kind of thing. At the same time, there are a few changes that you will not see from outside, such as hormone changes or blood pressure changes or that kind of things as well. So some of the physical changes that we can see from outside, and sometimes we cannot see other changes as well. The psychological changes, such as Caroline said, there are many, many changes that you go through inside, the transformations, identity changes, the mood changes because of the physical changes, the aches and hormone changes that they go through. So, and then also relationship change. Like Paul said that the your wife's daughter is giving birth this week, so you're becoming grandparents. I don't know if it is first time for you, Paul, but it's change. Like other people's relationship change, their status change. So maybe they will change how you interact with them, right? Yeah. Oh, sixth. Congratulations, Paul. So you are very veteran about this area, this phase. So, even though your child, your infant, it is first time to meet them. I don't know what their personality is like. So their relationship will be different. And you're figuring that out as you go instead of knowing how they are and who they are first. Responsibility changes, such as a parent, you have more obligations. You have to wake up to feed the baby. You have to be more responsible about money. Also, responsibility changes in terms of as a parent, you have more roles in this community, going to school, connecting with grandparents, that kind of things. So there are a lot more changes. Any changes that you can think of that a lot of parents go through as a birthing person or the partner that, or family member that you notice that people go through as a human being born?
I noticed one more, which
Hmm.
is identity change.
A lot.
For some people, it is very difficult to
Mhm.
become or not to become a mother
Mhm.
or a father. Some people cannot
Yeah.
accept the new identity,
Mhm.
or this is very often
Mhm.
what I see in my office. I work as a therapist,
Mhm.
that people go so much into the new identity, like for example, being a mother, that this is the only thing
Mhm.
that describes them. And after the children are more than 4 or 5 years old,
Mhm. Yeah. A lot.
sometimes they think about, okay, am I only a mother, or maybe am I
Exactly.
me?
Mhm. Yeah. That is a lot. When I worked in a counseling office, that is a lot of concern that a lot of women brought up. Am I going to be able to work again? I don't know how to be working person again. Everybody just ask about my kids and they never ask about, me. I don't want to be self-centered, but nobody asks how I'm doing. They ask about how is my kids doing, right? So it's a lot of shift. And then a lot of people going through pregnancy kind of sure about themselves, right? But pregnancy hits and then they're no longer sure, like, who am I, what's going on? The easy thing that I used to do is no longer easy. So it is just a big change. And if circumstances is very nice or set or planned pregnancy, you are able maybe have more bandwidth to prepare for these changes. But if that happens with people, pregnancy happened because of some crime or unplanned pregnancy or a lot of external difficulties such as, war, natural disaster, that kind of things, these things affect more. And then a trifold, 4 times more difficult to get through. So in terms of like, what happens? How does it affect, right? So like we talked about how it affects mother, physically, mentally, responsible, identity, and then it affects family as well, how they go through, how the birthing people go through the pregnancy and postpartum affect the marriage with the partner, or children's development, intellectually, behaviorally, emotionally, and then also societal change, impact, the government spending on the welfare system, the workplace, if the working person is a birthing person, how are they going to work with the worker who might need to take a longer parental leave compares to others, or just not return to work. In the United States, there are many states that doesn't have a mandated parental leave as a covered benefit to a lot of places. And so when we are looking at different literature, it is really important to be mindful of where this literature is coming from, such as like other Northern European countries who has 1 year parental leave with national health care insurance. Their reality might be not the same as a mother who doesn't have any insurance, health insurance, and then maybe get fired if she miss any work. So it is very different ways to interact, to see the mother birthing people in this context. And then what do we see in birthing people when they're going through? How does that come out? One way to come out is just kind of that you can see on the top, like you don't want to do anything, wants to just sit there and then be still. Or maybe you're overwhelmed where you want to cover your face and don't want to really look what's going on. And then a lot of women, a lot of birthing people, I'm slipping really bad. A lot of birthing people feel isolated. I'm alone. I don't know what's going on and who else. At the same time, the last one is the one that I want to highlight the most. Is the one who is smiling. A lot of people suffer during the pregnancy and postpartum without saying anything. They have a pressure to be happy and joyful. You have a good, healthy baby. What are you moping about, right? So that's the most important part as a clinicians, or working in organizations, or being a colleague, is to ask, how are you doing, right? You had a big life change, or being pregnant, or had the baby. How are you doing? Don't assume that the smile on the face equals to no issue at all underneath. So looking at the big picture, there are many organizations and different governmental office or national, international office organization that are promoting the awareness of the mental health during the pregnancy and after birth, and then also promoting people to connect with mental health professionals for support. And some of the organizations are training professional to be there for birthing people, such as on the there are a lot of statistic that is really concerning, saying that this statistic on the left bottom, say 66M, this isn't 66 million people. This is a number of women in sub-Saharan Africa who suffers from depression, right? And then on the top, there is a saying that two people in 10 women have a mental health problem during pregnancy in the first year following the birth. So we have about 10 people in the group. So 2 people will be suffering. If you were waiting in, office or something like that, the clinic office, 2 people are suffering. And then you may not see that. And then, oops. Okay. Sorry for the headache. And then every day, this is a research or a study from UN Women, that every day for 830 women dies from preventable cause related to pregnancy and childbirth around the world. And then the red flyer in the middle, the world needs mothers. This is from European EU, that they have as a campaign for Mother Matter campaign that they have. And then also the same about the same study about World Health Organization put out that the women dies about 800 people die because of the preventable cause. So this is not only developed country issues, or it's not only certain countries. It is all over the world, and then this is very, very precedented, huge impact that we could make by being aware of these effects of the birth or the pregnancies, and be aware of that. So how are we doing with time? So we started 2:30, so it's been 24 minutes. Okay, we're good. All right, so now let's tie this information with SFBT. Finally, yes. So when you think about SFBT, and then many of you, I have known you for a long time, and many of you have known SFBT, and then how does the SFBT might help clinicians or administrator when working with people going through pregnancy or birth? Yeah. Oops. I'm gonna not touch this one again. Sorry. Yeah. Anybody have anything to, how SFBT can be helpful, helping birthing people and their families?
Well, it might be helpful that every individual is unique and their experiences are unique. And so there's not going to be a blanket, oh, okay, we'll just do this, or like, here's the treatment plan for this issue. It's going to have to, you're going to have to draw out the strengths and what's worked and what works for that individual person.
Yeah. Thank you, Marcella. Yes, that is the beauty of solution focus, especially in the birthing people. Like I said, there are circumstances of how you became pregnant can be very different. And then how you are equipped to deal with birthing and then pregnancy can be different financially, the environment, the family support, that kind of thing. So the solution focus can be very, very helpful in personalizing the care that they need. And so when Insu and Steve's are working with family in Milwaukee, I'm sure they worked a lot with new parents or birthing people or pregnant people, but there is not a lot of research written on this subject as far as I could see. And then please tell me, I'm trying to, you know, scavenger hunt all the article around this topic all over the world. So if you have anything that you see that Insu or Steve gave a talk on this topic of working with new parents or pregnant people, please, yeah, email me or put it in a chat or bombard me with information. So first time that I encounter with the SFBT and new parents or birthing parents is that solution for the book over here, Interviewing for Solution. In the first few pages, Insu and Peter DeYoung explains the little case scenario of problem saturated talk versus solution building talk. And then in that talk, the client who is being in a counseling is a mother with many children and pregnant again on a fourth time or third time. So this is you know, Insu, who played as a therapist, take mom into, like, you know, overwhelmed person into, hey, this is how about resources? Have you looked at these? How are you talking to your kids? Is there any successes lately? And then slowly mother reveals, like, yes, it was really nice to talk to my kids last night because I didn't have to work, that kind of thing. So, you know, it is very nice conversations compared to the problem focusing or more diagnostic interviewing, where they are asking, what were you thinking when you got another pregnancy? You already have 3, you know, that kind of line of talk. So I really, really encourage you to read the Interventions for Solutions by Insu and Steve. Another book that I came across recently is a book called Moved to Tears, Moved to Action. This is a book by Jane Leatham. I think she is related to Brief in London, and it was written in 1970s. No, 1994. Yes, and in this book, there is a chapter that says the women at the head of the family. So they are talking about mother's struggle, day-to-day struggle, and how the solution focused brief therapy conversation helped her to get less overwhelmed, even though still there were a lot of tasks on her shoulder, but, you know, finding a way of hope of being a mother. Right. So these are 2 books that kind of I got started. So recently I did dig through the library and found articles, 7 articles that is, you know, did research on how the solution focused brief therapy worked when we use that to treat birthing people. So 6 of them are randomized control study, meaning that they had different groups of getting different treatments, and then they compare and contrast how their outcomes are. One quasi-experiment study is that they only had group who got the SFBT treatment, and then they just compare and contrast before getting treatment and after getting treatment. And then there are 2 book chapters already on this topic. One is from, why didn't I write her name? Yeah. Franklin, no. Yeah, Cynthia Franklin's book, and then another is different author, but they're talking about compilation of different study that they did in terms of working with the birthing people and displaying the outcome that they found. So what the setting that they studied in, because like all of us maybe work in different environments, and then we will have different interaction with the birthing people. So in that 7 all these articles, these are the 3 settings that I found. First is medical setting, such as midwife, nurses, OBGYN office, or medical clinic. The second setting is mental health setting, such as therapy, counseling office, that kind of thing. And then the last one is one study, or one book chapter was about school setting. And so the medical setting, they were talking about the pain management during the labor, and then how the SFBT may help the woman feel less pain during the delivery. I was reading that study, and I was like, wow, people can answer these questions while they are on delivery. They must be really cognizant. I was very impressed by the participants. But anyhow, another medical setting research was about mental health of the woman who was experiencing gestational diabetes, meaning that they're becoming diabetes during the pregnancy, or the anxiety or fear of labor after the stillbirth. A mental health setting, the prevention of postpartum depression and anxiety. The school setting is kind of interesting study. It's about parenting, social relationship, parents' education, career development. Yeah. So that's the setting. So who did they study? So they've studied, of course, pregnant women. Many of the study did a pregnant woman who is experiencing the birth for the first time, instead of people who already gave a birth 2-3 times and then coming back for another one. And then one study that was at the school setting is the pregnant or parenting adolescents. So they are still in high school, and they are finishing the high school education. So what did they find is that overall, all the study had a positive outcome of solution after receiving solution focused brief therapy, either one day or a very short period of time or few weeks treatment when they compare pre and post test. The second point that they said in many different paper is effective for a long time. One study was saying that they follow these participants after they gave birth. So they had this solution focused brief therapy treatment before giving birth during the pregnancy, around the 25 to 30 weeks gestational period. And then they follow them after they gave birth to see if any of the positive effects still stuck with them. And then they found, yes, these positive effects still was present in them. All right. And then the last one was very, very happy one that I was like, yes, finally we have some very good comparison, is that they compared the solution focused brief therapy versus CBT, and they compare the effect that they saw after the treatments, and then they said there was no difference in the outcome between people who received SFBT or and people who received CBT in terms of severity of postpartum depression. So this is very promising results to say that SFBT can be called evidence-based practice for perinatal mental health or birthing people soon when we get more research done. All right. So in conclusion, for my presentation, that SFBT shown effectiveness, it's not hurting these birthing people when we give them SFBT treatment, and also that there is a potential of calling SFBT as evidence-based practice treating birthing people. So yeah, so far I have talked about what's out there in the research world about solution focused brief therapy and birthing people, but anything stood out for you from these results or these studies that you were like, huh, that's interesting, or like, oh, I thought different about it? Yeah. Anything stood out? You you can put it in a meeting chat, or yeah. Okay. All right. So my thoughts after reading all these research papers is that, the research in a community is very important. Instead of having research in a lab, they come to office and do the, research. It is very important to do the research study in community, such as hospital, home visits, that kind of thing, and then have the woman's voice heard throughout these studies. All of the study that I encounter was using like depression scales or anxiety scales, and then it didn't have any survey or interview about how women or birthing people felt when they were going through SFBT treatment, or they didn't ask how these treatment helped them during the birthing period or postpartum. So I think that is the area that will be very, very needed right now to learn more about SFBT and how is that working for these people. And then because pregnancy and then birthing and parenthood is such a interdisciplinary collaboration where we work with doctor, nurses, midwife, therapist. So it is very important to keep that in the research where we are working with different, people from different fields. All right. Any questions so far? I hope I didn't lose everybody. I was talking so much. Yeah. Okay.
I don't have questions. I'm
Yeah.
just amazed in not such a happy way that how many problems can derive from this transformation into parenthood. Although I felt my own things that were very difficult, but it's really really interesting how many things can be difficult and how wonderful it is to be able to help with SFBT.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention, these study are from many different countries. So I told you that we had 7 research articles, but they're not only from United States, and then I'm very, very happy it's all over the world, but some of them are from Iran, one study is from Taiwan, the book chapter that Cynthia Franklin wrote was from United States, and then one study from Turkey. So like you can see, it is, usable in many different culture contexts, and then also can be used in different languages. And so again, it shows that how solution focused grief therapy can be very usable in different settings. And then also, yeah, so I forgot to mention that in an earlier slide, right? Any other comments or thoughts or question? Yeah.
I just had a question. And I was really interested when you said obviously about birthing people, because a lot of my work now is around supporting trans people. So I train hospitals in like trans inclusion and stuff. And I just wondered if you had any experience working with using SF with trans parents. What you've noticed there, perhaps if you had any experience of that or any insight on that.
Yeah, I don't personally have worked with trans male who is giving birth. However, there are more research coming out in general, not only for solution focus, but then there are a lot coming out. So first, because of if they went through surgery before getting the pregnant, a lot of doctors are very hesitant to take them as a client. Because of the hormone treatment that went through, maybe surgery that went through. So it is very difficult, more risky client, they will call. And then also the people around them get confused, right? Because you are saying that I use he pronoun or they pronoun, but then now you're pregnant, what's up with that? That kind of acceptance from the surroundings is a lot or from the healthcare professionals. They are like, what are you doing here? On the chart they say male, but you are pregnant, right? So a lot, and because it's more talked about, and then people are coming out and then have using their rights to become a parent as a trans man. So that is really great things that they have, they are doing what they want to do in their life. But I think medical system is having a hard time catching up. That's my thoughts when I hear.
Yeah, I wondered if it was going to be. Yeah, I thought it would probably be that, but I can understand how that then impacts and the changes that can then also cause on top of everything in the first place.
Yes.
In pregnancy, anyway.
Yeah. And then sometimes they are like very lucky to find a resource like your place, right? To support medically or maybe mental health support or peer support to go through this change. But a lot of people have to do it by themselves. and that kind of increase the risk of complications or
Yeah.
difficult birth or poor birth outcome, where they have a lot of very long effects, such as physical unwell, that kind of thing. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Yes. Yeah. And so my few things that I wanted to ask you is, where to now, right? In SF, we kind of start asking clients, where to? Where would you like to go from here? And then now I covered where we are right now in terms of SF and then birthing people studies and what we know and how it works. What would you like to know more about SFBT, or, you know, SFBT and birthing person? What would you like to know more about? Now, of course, you can put it in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. What do you hope to go from here? Like, I was listening to Hasten's presentation earlier in a keynote plenary discussion, and she was saying that, you know, if we speak out loud, it's already happening. You know, we are putting a seed of learning more about or exploring or making things happen. So I would like to know, like, what would you like to know more about, you know, this area or SFBT?
I think just continuing the work, really getting it out there further, getting it out there more, and then also exploring these kind of more nuanced conversations like SFBT with trans parents as well and all this, but also just in the process of that, just getting this SFBT out to the people that need it, because it sounds like it's really beneficial. So
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that would be so great if we can compile their voices of experience going through, so we can document that and then pass it on to the next people, so that they can have some idea of what kind of territory they are going through, what kind of difficulty people have to manage extra on top of, you know, going through birth. And then, yeah, that will be so beneficial. Yeah, thank you, Gaia. Yeah, Caddy?
Yeah, I just want to share some thoughts that were running through my head, that I feel like for both birthing people, but also for people who decide not to do that, like for people who, like, for example, choose to be child-free and so on, that I feel like there is so much as a judgment in both directions, not and also in a way that, like, I've experienced a lot with my close friends and sisters when they were pregnant, that there's so much unsolicited advice, like that the moment the pregnancy becomes kind of visible, that a lot of people give them advice even though they didn't ask for it, and like give them advice in a way that sounds like as if they're predicting this is what it's going to be like, and so on. And so I think so I don't remember who said that before, but that every pregnancy is of course different, every individual is different, but I feel like the kind of unsolicited advice that is given a lot, it just assumes as if every pregnancy has the same pattern. And that's why I feel, just imagining in that setting where I feel like my sister, who just had a baby now, where she was suffering from this unsolicited advice, I feel like she would have, I was just kind of fantasizing about in which settings it would have been helpful for her to be surrounded by more SF, and that to be surrounded by the like non-judgmental mindset of solution focus and so on. That was one thing. And I think the other thing I was wondering if you've direct experience with like how SF can help birthing people really in labor, like really the pain, the contraction, everything. If there's
I was surprised. So do you want me to talk a little bit more about that study? Yeah, so this is a study done in Iran. They had a handful of women who went through the emergency room to give a birth to a baby. So they did a very quick SFBT counseling, about 40 to 60 minutes counseling of how would you like the birth to go? What would be different of having this baby, that kind of talk. So they went through pretty much all the SFBT questions, right?
wow.
And so in a labor, they follow the labor by the size of the cervix. So 5 centimeter, 8 centimeter, and 10 centimeter. 10 centimeter is a goal that they wants to go to push the baby out of the mother's body. And these women who agreed to participate in the study were able to answer their pain scale and also able to go through like a anxiety scale during the contraction when they were 5 centimeter and 8 centimeters. And then so people who didn't get any SF talk at all reported much higher pain throughout the pregnancy delivery, which people expected. However, the people who went through SFBT counseling right before, when they came to ER without knowing what is SFBT or anything, it's not even like ongoing therapy, they scored about 1 to 2 point lower on the pain scale throughout. And then even after delivery, they said that was good experience. It was painful and laborious, but then it was good compares to other one who had a lot of like, oh, it was painful, it was this and it was that, like more difficulty. So I thought that was very interesting, that to show that even one time interaction about talking about what they are looking for after the birth makes that difference. And then most of the besides the study that was done in a school setting for pregnant or parenting adolescents, all the research was not ongoing therapy. It was one-time online workshop or one-time birthing class that they incorporated solution-focused brief therapy talk in there. So I was like, wow, this is very interesting, that single session, very short intervention of solution talk can make such a difference. So I thought it was very promising to, use it in passing by these clients, or with the coworkers or somebody that might going through the tough time, or even when they are not going through tough time. So I thought it was very promising result to say that it doesn't have to be in a therapy setting where we have to meet 6, 10, 20 times, but it can be embedded in just in even interview of accepting clients, or just short conversation can make a impact. So I thought that was very interesting. And sorry, let me check. Yeah, I'm over time. I'm sorry to keep you all here very long, but yeah. So yeah, yeah, I had a Q&A, but what was helpful for you to know? I was just dishing out the information today, but I would like to know what was helpful for you to know, what you got out of, this presentation.
Well, just the what you shared just now sounds amazing. The difference it can make right in labor, and also I think right in the beginning of the presentation when you just pointed out how much of a change it is, and just to ask how are you doing, and acknowledging you've just experienced a huge life change. That kind of stayed with me.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Anybody else who would like to share? Oh, there is something in the chat. Yes, thank you, Ella. You are such a big support, always, always great. So, yeah, please feel free to contact me or bombard me with any research that if you find out about, birthing people and SFBT that Insu or Steve or some, original founder did, because I couldn't find anything. So yeah, please let me know. And then, yeah, if you are interested, Gaia, I will be happy to talk with you to help, capturing the voices of trans people going through the birth and in this experience. So yeah, thank you so much for coming. And I hope you have a great evening or great weekend ahead of you.